Hello everyone, I am back. Well, actually, my name is Amo, but I am back. Or I am now part of another draft league after some time. I want to just say now that if for some reason I sound weird, I'm gonna say sorry for that because when I tried to, reassemble my recording stuff, my mic wasn't working for some reason, so if I sound weird again, I just apologize for the time being. I'm gonna see and hope that things get better. But right now it should be fine enough, hopefully. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out in case it was noticeable or not. If it's not, well, then good, just ignore us at any of that. But knowing me, I know damn well that it's not gonna be something that's gonna be ignored. But anyway, we are now part of another draft league in our journey of being a draft player on Wi-Fi again. And for this new league, we are now one of the players of the Draft Jam, which is held by good friend Keegan, of course. And we are, of course, oh, you see? So this is not just a standard draft for the sake of playing draft. This draft in particular bans some of the more powerful Pokemon that exists, as well as making more Pokemon Terra banned. Like, it's not also like low tier, like like we did with LTM. It's really just imagine standard draft, but the ban list is much bigger. Like, imagine like Great Tusk, Iron Valiant, Meowscarada, Terrapagos, like Pokemon like these being banned. But just to give you an example, the most expensive Pokemon available is Garchomp. And after that, it goes to Pokemon like Greninja, Treads, Pachyrant, Roymoon, and Tinglu. So imagine all the other guys that you normally see in draft that are stronger. Well, they're not here. It also goes for, like I said, with Terra Captain, like Pokemon like Raging Bolt, Zorude, Keldeo, Hydrapple. These guys cannot Terra. Not gonna say everything because Keegan made a video for this, and obviously he's playing, so you're gonna have his channel link in the description with alongside every other coaches. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get done with the draft. There's gonna be, of course, some spoiler on the side and even right now on the screen, but I don't care. I tried to record this on Showdown like I normally do when I don't have graphics, but I wasn't able to fix my mic there. But at least I was able to get it fixed on for the matches, which I figured was more priority to do. Cannot do draft videos without commentary, of course. So rarely you're gonna see me doing the actual game for presenting the draft. Okay. So for my first pick, as you can see, since the 3 minutes I've been talking, I got Blaziken first. Now, like I said, I didn't mention it as one of the top guys. Like, I believe like Blaziken is like 12 or 13 if I remember from what the draft board is like. So it's definitely not like a guy that is on top of the draft. So you might think this is just because either I was very in the back, so I had to make do what's left, or you might think that it's just a me pick. Well, first off, I was like the sixth person to pick, so there was definitely a lot of stuff available for me before that were obviously worth grabbing. And two, I didn't even think of getting Blaziken as my first pick anyway. Like, I was thinking like maybe like Treads, like Pachyrant even. Yeah, Pachyrant again, I know. So why would Blaziken? Well, for some reason, even though we have removed more Pokemon than usual and made more Pokemon Terra banned, Blaziken became Terra legal. I just want to put you in perspective. In every single draft I play on Wi-Fi and even on Showdown recently, there was never a time where Blaziken was able to Terrastallize. Never. And yet, here we are with this. Oh, sorry. Just ignore that. Okay. even though it's supposed to be a weaker version of the standard draft, Blaziken is allowed to Terra. And it made it to me, so I was like, you know what? Let's see what Terra Blaziken has to offer. Because you know what Blaziken does. It's a very strong Pokemon with a great offensive typing that is normally held up by speed, but it has speed boost, therefore it becomes faster after every turn. So the only real thing that holds it back is its it's the fact that it gets recoil for Blitz, its bulk is not that good. But considering that Terra is on the table, I can make Blaziken stronger and potentially flip its matchup defensively as well. I'm definitely curious to see how I'm gonna use Blaziken in the draft, but hopefully it's gonna be good. I mean, it would be a shame that I do poorly with it when it was normally not supposed to Terra, but now it can, but suddenly it's not good. Yeah, I'll do my best to make good use of it. Next, I figured drafting Latios for my next pick because I thought it synergizes well with Blaziken. You know, Latios got buffed this gen with its signature move Luster Approach becoming 95 base power, with a good chance of dropping this by death. So usually the Pokemon you're gonna use for Latios are Steel types, which if I can lure them if I'm able to get them on the field, I can bring Blaziken in on like a flip turn or whatever. And also the way Blaziken faces up against a Steel type, which is where it can get its first free turn. But of course, outside of that, Latios is still, it's just powerful even. Like I said, there's a Luster Approach, I can drop Dracos with it. I mean, it's Latios, it's just a fast, powerful special attacker that I thought was very good for the team. Next, I wanted to grab Ogerpon and Wellspring. Because even though it's not a Terra Ogre, I still thought it was worth to grab. Because that's a very, very solid answer to most water types. First off, because it's a water itself, but also it has a grass type. So it's pretty much the perfect water killer you can think of. So even the few, but like it's a physical attacker, so like what if it's like a water type with Skull that burns it, where I don't care because I have Water Absorb. But also offensively it can also lay spikes, it can also knock off, preferably U-turn. Not to mention that the Pokemon you want to use to check Ogre, Wellspring are grass types, and for the same reason as Latios, I can use a momentum move on those grass type on the switch then bring Blaziken. So yeah, I thought Ogerpon was very solid for me to grab. Then next, just to make it clear, I did not grab Carbink. In reality, I went with Diancie. The reason why there's a Carbink on the screen right now is because, well, I'm recording in-game where I don't have a DNC, and I didn't feel like genning a DNC to just make my... So I just decided, I'm gonna put Carbink, it's literally the closest thing to DNC. So it's not the Pinkster, it's actually DNC, so the one that it shares the same stats with it except for attack and special attack where it's base 100. So the reason I went DNC because I wanted a good fairy, and I thought DNC was the better fairy. So that's what the issue with this draft, because there was no, the top tier Pokemon were very limited in numbers, everybody jumped on the value pick, immediately. So that's gonna be an issue we're gonna see later in the draft. So there was not a lot of fairy type lefts that were worth grabbing. I didn't want to just grab a Pokemon I shouldn't say Granbull, I use it in EXPL. I didn't want to grab something like a Dash Bun, if you get my point. I just didn't want to draft a Blob that just happened to be a fairy type. I wanted to have a useful fairy type, and I thought DNC was a better one. After all, I have hazards, including also spikes, so Ogre isn't necessarily pressured to use spikes unless I want to do double stacking. And it can also a good trait like Encore. Offensively, it can also be good if I give it Power or Meteor Beam. So yeah, so that's DNC. Next, I have the big bad Ursaluna for the next pick. I wanted to use an Ursaluna again, and since the last Ursaluna I used was a Blood Moon one, I figured let's use the regular one again after a while. Because it's a super powerful breaker with guts I know the popular set isn't, the Flame or Guts, which obviously I'm not gonna. I mean, I can run Guts if I feel like it. I mean, Flame if I feel like it. Of course, Leftovers and Salvas are good as well. But I figure if I want a Pokemon that just punch holes, so basically I wanted a physical breaker to help Blaziken as well. And I figured Ursaluna because I wanted a good ground types. Of course, it's not the ground types that is like set up hazards, but I have DNC, so I figured it was fine. And speaking of DNC, learns Trick Room, so I can have Trick Room enabled for my Ursaluna. So yeah, I do like it. So it's just like a big Statmon, like super tanky, super strong. So yeah. Next, it's the same case as DNC. In reality, I drafted Iron Crown, but I don't have an Iron Crown, so I went with Cobalion. That's literally the closest thing resembling Iron Crown. So this is not Cobalion, this is an Iron Crown. The reason why I went Iron Crown is because I needed a Steel types. Like, I didn't want to make it like LTM where I didn't have a Steel type that bite me so much for not having one. And Crown was pretty much the best one left, which even though it's double Psychic with Latios, I figured it was still worth it to grab it, because again, that was the better one on the board. I'm not too worried about having a Steel type that does not set up hazards, because again, DNC is there. And Crown can potentially also just help with Latios as well. It's dual Psychic. And it has a completely different defensive profile than Latios, with its partial Steel typing, compared to Latios Dragon plus Levitate. And again, similar to Latios, Steel types are usually the better answers for Crown. Volt Switch on them, then bring Blaziken or Ursaluna. Very simple, but again, that's the better Steel type I could get. Next, this is in fact Isui and Qwilfish, so there's no mix up for this one. Again, I needed Dark type, I needed a Poison. Originally, I wanted a Poison type that resists Fairy, but there was like no Poison types worth grabbing left. Again, I just want to point out again, everybody jumped on the value pick very early due to a lack of stronger Pokemon. So I had to grab what was available. Oh, hi Kirby. I see you, my friend, even in my presentation of draft. Yeah. So, Qwilfish, it's good spike. Again, it's another spiker, so can potentially leave some pressure again for DNC as well. So I can have DNC for rocks, I can have Qwilfish for spikes, if I feel like it. And it has weaker stat over Quill, but that's compensated by the fact that I can hold Eviolite. And plus, I had Overquill LTM, might as well have the baby one now. Okay, little puffball of utility. Next, I wanted Suicune because I have Ember Wellspring, but it's not a water that resists, fire. So I figured I wanted to have a bulky water type. I had actually quite some choice for this slot. Like, I thought about Swampert as his second ground type that can set up hazard plus left turn. I thought about Vaporeon to pass wishes. But in the end, I settled on Suicune because it was the bulkier one that was a pure water type. It's not as good as it used to be. Like, with power creep, rest having only 8 PP, and just sleep toxic not being that great anyway. Which I have to make sure I have to stop using them, they're not reliable at all. But I still went ahead with it because I had the point, which I guess I should say that I don't think anyone used their entire budget because, again, we just went for lower budget pick, so we don't. I think everybody has like at least 20 points minimum left, like at least close to. So it's not even just a case of just me not using all my points, it's everybody that did not use all their points. But also, since speaking of points by the way, that allowed me to make Suicune my second Terra user. Because I have Blaziken as an offensive Terra, with a second Pokemon that can use Terra more defensively, I figured, might as well be Suicune. That's the bulkiest Pokemon that I have on my team that can afford to Terra with it. Plus, potentially, Terra could also improve on it. Like, I could see Terra flying to give it the flying coverage for the grass types, whatever. So yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. And that works, again, I have two Pokemon that works well enough in their current state with Terra that can potentially make them better. Next, in terms of budget, I went Tornadus. It's a flying type. It can have, it has pranks. It's either like a strong just flying type, like Hurricane or Bleak Wind Storm, depending on what you want. It has knockoff, or it can be used of Prankster for Tailwind or Taunt. It's literally just either strong flying move or priority Tailwind, depending on the situation. And then last, that's Reckrai. I didn't know there was literally nothing left worth to grab, so I was like, okay, Rapska, because that's another Trick Room user. Also, I thought that Revival Blessing was a ban, so I was like, if I feel like it, because I'm still on my belief that Revival Blessing is not good. So I was like, in case I wanna use it, I can maybe prove it. But maybe I won't because I don't think Revival Blessing is that good. But it's there as an option, and on that's the entire draft. So, and that should come out tomorrow from me because I'm recording this on Friday night. And the stream will be Saturday, as in today as you should be watching this, or maybe it's gonna be like Sunday, maybe you watch this Monday, maybe you watch this 3 years later, I don't know. But it's gonna be Saturday the 25th of October. And like that, I will sign off. I will talk to you guys for when we're gonna be in week 1. So, see you guys later.